where nothing's off limits, everything gets talked about, and the drama never dies. Let's get into it. I'm your host, Jesse.
And I'm Jamie.
And I'm Haley.
Hello, 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 everybody. How are we doing today?
Fantastic, wonderful. How are you?
Good. We got something special planned for this week. We have our special guest, Peaches. Peaches, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, it's Peaches. I feel so lucky to be here.
Welcome, Peaches. We're excited to have you on this week's episode.
Is this your first ever podcast, Peaches?
It is. And I have lots of juicy stories to tell you guys.
We can't
What you guys
wait.
don't know is that a lot of our podcast today will be Peaches talking about her love life, her relationships, her exciting adventures with men or women. We'll get into that in a little bit. Jamie, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Let's talk about our weeks.
This week's episode is going to be based around Peaches' love life, her relationships, her wild adventures she's been on recently. Peaches is recently divorced and single and back on the market for all you boys and girls looking for a wifey.
Peaches, are you looking to remarry quickly?
I'm looking for a sugar daddy. If anybody is interested.
Oh, I'm
Me
pretty sure
too.
Jamie knows something about getting a sugar daddy.
Perfect.
Jamie?
I do not. I cannot find one.
Well, I've had a couple offers. Yeah, there are none. But I was just not into it. I just want them to spoil me and me not have to do anything. But I know that's not how it works. So I'll have to figure that out.
You're
Haley,
doing better
isn't there
than
a
me.
website?
Nobody's even offered.
Yeah, that sucks.
Isn't there a website for this, Haley?
And actually, sugar daddies are pretty easy to find. I've had a couple, but it is
That's for another
draining.
episode.
Yeah, that's for another time.
All right, guys. So how's everyone's week this week?
Pretty good. Didn't do much. What did you guys get up to this week?
I stayed pretty busy with the kids. I got my nails done today.
Gorgeous. Got to pamper yourself. You have to. A woman's got to pamper herself. Or what are we doing?
That's
Right.
true.
Not that Haley would know much about pampering herself. She doesn't leave her house, but
She does her nails all the time.
that's true.
Thank you.
She's a professional at this point. I'm sure of it.
Right. No, I'm not going to say. I'll keep that to myself.
Wait, now everybody's wondering what you were going to say. All right, Haley, you don't got to tell us, but just know in future episodes, we're going to wonder what that story means.
Don't worry, I'll come out with it eventually. But right now, I'm going to keep it for myself.
So I know we have a few things planned for this episode. I know we're going to get into Peaches' love life. Why don't we start with maybe, Haley, you start with your segments and update us on them.
Okay, so let's get into some Fredericton news updates this week. I feel like I'm screaming because I have a new setup here. But anyway, so there was an update on the streaker. Did you guys see this?
I did. That's
Yes.
crazy.
He's made his way to Moncton now. He was seen walking down William Street in Moncton with nothing but his black socks on again.
Yeah, crazy. Especially being down here was all over Facebook. All over Facebook.
Yeah, it is absolutely insane. He's been spotted in St. John, St. Stephen's. There was another place, but I forget. And then Fredericton and Moncton now.
We need to just name him the East Coast Streaker.
I think that's already what he is, unless he's trying to make his way all around Canada, which he could be.
Maybe you can make it over north for Jamie to have a witness of him.
Maybe. That would be nice. I'm sure he's one of Peach's exes. I'm sure of it.
It's quite possible, I think.
You never know. He could be.
Right. I think he probably is. So anyways, that was one update that we got this week, which I thought was really funny. I've been looking out to see if he's been anywhere else. I think that was around just after Canada Day. And then on Canada Day, which the last 3 episodes, it's so funny because we did one just before Canada Day. Our first episode was on Canada Day, recorded on Canada Day. And now we're still reporting news from Canada Day. So basically, this is the Canada Day podcast.
Right, it's a 3-part special.
Right. On Canada Day in Fredericton, a man sprayed bear mace into the crowd, into a big crowd of people during the fireworks. Did you guys see that?
Oh my God,
did.
that's crazy.
It happened not that far from where the kids and I were watching the fireworks too. We walked past that. When we walked past, the ambulance and police were just showing up.
Yeah, I guess a bunch of people ended up going to the hospital. Well, not a bunch, but a handful of people. And then they don't know if it was a targeted attack because they did it on a male teenage boy, and I seen his mother commented on the post that kinda, like, posted about it on the Fredericton News Chasers, and she was like, "Yeah, that was my son that happened, like, he's okay now." But yeah,
The world's going to shit, like, you can't trust nothing nowadays, like, in Fredericton, I'm sorry, it's getting crazy up there. Moncton too is pretty bad, but, like,
right.
people are just doing shit out of nowhere, like, just some wildest stories,
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the hell is going on nowadays, but it needs to come to a damn halt,
right?
and
Like, the
quick.
gunman a few years ago up there, remember in the park? There was that gunman
Yes.
jumping out in front of people,
I know, it's absolutely insane the shit that's been going on, like, especially the accidents. The accidents in Fredericton,
are
like,
still
since
happening, yeah.
the spring, it's been crazy.
Yeah, did you
Every
see there was
day.
another one today?
Yes.
Yes, you see it
There's a
every damn day.
And it's always 2 vehicles.
Yeah, there was, like, a head-on one with 2 vehicles on Brookside, wasn't it?
Yes. Did you speaking of accidents, did you see the accident, I believe it was yesterday, or the day before, involving the ambulance and the transport truck and
yeah,
PEI?
down by
No,
PEI, yeah, that was
I didn't
crazy.
hear anything about that.
You didn't?
That's crazy.
Heartbreaking. An ambulance, carrying a patient going to the hospital, like, they went head on with the transport. Both the paramedics, the driver and the paramedic died, and the patient died.
Yeah,
My god,
right
I
off
did
the
not
bridge of
hear
Yeah,
PEI.
that.
you
Yeah,
didn't? It was
Wow.
so sad.
it was
Okay, new
right off
fear
the bridge of
unlocked.
PEI.
Yeah,
That
so
is
that
so
was
sad.
heartbreaking. It was.
This
I mean,
summer
it
is
still
just
is.
full of bad news. Fires. Another fire in Boys Town this week.
Yeah,
Like,
a
how
family
many
of 5 or 6.
they had there's the parents there's either I think they have like 3 kids.
They have 3 that I know personally. They may have a 4th, but I know they have 2 girls and a boy, but I feel like they have 3 girls and a boy. I'm not sure. Theodore and Matilda told me, like, because when we drove past when it was on fire, they
Mhm.
told me whose house it was because they go to school with their kids.
That's so
So,
sad.
it is.
Those
It
poor
is really sad.
kids,
I know. I feel so bad for them. I couldn't imagine, like, me and my children being without a home
right? It's got me
and, like
so sketched because I sleep like with my all my stuff plugged in to an extension cord by my bed, and like all the time I'll just randomly like smell something. I think I smell something. I'm like, God.
Yep. Yeah, I get, like, really anxious because I do live in a really old home, and I'm positive the electrical is not up to date. So,
Right.
I do unplug a lot of things at night before I go to bed, though, like, a lot.
So, Peaches, is there anything like what do you think about all the stuff that's been going on around Fredericton? Or have you even been paying attention?
I don't pay attention to the news. I'm you. I just stay home where it's safe and go out when I'm feeling wild, I guess. But I don't.
Well, I keep up to date.
Yeah, I don't.
News chasers.
I'm on there 16 times a day, commenting under my pseudonym, like in it.
There is
I
one topic, Haley, that you
What?
need to cover though, about the murderer dating on there. Are we dating the same person? Might get deleted before we could get it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not gonna mention names because I know this person and I'm not trying to start any beef.
Why?
Yes, so and are we dating the same person? There's a guy, this woman posted him and was like, any news or anything on this guy? And everybody's in the comments, yes, like, I know him. He went to jail for murder. Like, he murdered this person, blah, blah, blah. This is not funny, okay? I'm gonna laugh, but I don't think this is funny. He commented, this girl said, "Yeah, he tried to run over my cousin." He comments and said, under with his full fucking name, and said, "Correction, I did run him over. Did, bitch," is what he fucking said.
successfully
I
ran
love
his
Predator.
ass over.
I
The
love Predator.
him being a
Like,
murderer is not fucking funny whatsoever. I don't know the full story of what happened. I know that it happened, but I was always too scared to look at it because he is friends with so many of my friends. And I know that he's got like a business now and he's on the straight and narrow. And I've like conversed with him about what his business is because it's like, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want him to be identified, but like I've messaged him, reached out to him to like get this service. So,
Maybe we just shouldn't talk to murderers though.
well,
Because
I
the
don't
only
make it a
reason he is
habit.
out the only reason he is out is
statistically
because of a police problem, a police
Right.
mistake.
statistically, we all come encounter with a multiple murderers many times in
No,
our life.
I just don't act a
Okay, Jamie, you wanna know something? Jesse's so fucking judgy, okay?
second time she's talked to a felon.
This okay, second time I've talked to a murderer specifically, but so I'll tell the story, okay? We'll do a little Haley's love life update. So when I got out of a relationship, I think it was like right before I was seeing Dayton or it was like one of our breakups. Jesse and I moved in together and we were living downtown. I started talking to this really cute guy. He's from Nova Scotia. We're like talking about him coming down to see me and all this stuff. And like a week into us talking, he's like, I gotta tell you something though. I was like, what? I don't know if Peaches even knows this story. But, anyways, I was like, what? He was like, you're gonna see, like, I'm in the news. I was like, for what? He fucking assaulted this old lady. Actually, I don't know if he meant to assault her. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He assaulted this old lady, stole her vehicle, backed over her, and killed her.
I feel doing all of those things at once. That's not a mistake.
Right.
Once.
Right. If it was individual.
Individually, they could all be mistakes, but together, too coincidental.
Right. And not funny that this happened to this poor elderly lady. Just funny that I would fucking come in contact with that psycho. And when I said, yeah, actually, we probably shouldn't meet. And I was like, going through the thing, making sure I didn't give him my fucking address. I was like, God.
Next one getting ran over.
Haley, do you remember that guy who I was talking to and I didn't give him my Facebook or anything, and he posted my Instagram on, I think it was the Are We Dating the Same Person? It was something that, right. Do you remember that?
Yep. And
You were posted on Are We Dating
Yes.
the Same Person?
She was. And it was
Really
by
gotta get on
a
there.
man. If I said his first name is Brad, his last initial is N. If anybody in Fredericton, everybody in Fredericton listening to this knows who the hell he is because he's constantly harassing women and doing weird fucking shit. And I was actually talking to his baby mama. She messaged me on Facebook, which can be a whole nother drama. I should get her messages up because this motherfucker is psychotic. They've been broken up basically. Okay, sorry, we're gonna get into this. I'm telling this story. Back in the day, way before I even dated Todd, I started talking to this guy, Brad, and we were not talking sexually or anything like that. Like, it wasn't like that. He was looking for a roommate. And it was like when I lived with mom and I was like just moving out of Katie and Jessica. So I was looking for a roommate. He's like, yeah, I have a roommate right now, but she's moving out. So, anyways, I was like, okay, perfect. I was supposed to go look at his house. Okay. He lived on Dundonald Street at the time. I'm like getting mom and Kevin to take me over there because I didn't have a license at the time. It's the day I'm going over there. This girl starts messaging me, hey, just so you know, Brad is not single. I'm not his roommate. I'm his baby mama. And we live together with our kid. Our kid's like a week old. I was like, what the hell? Like, so anyways, never talked to him anymore. That was all
No.
fine and dandy. And then Peaches starts talking to him and I was like, oh my God, do not talk to him. Like, because I've heard a lot of things about him over the years after that because of a lot of friends of mine. I was like, don't. He's fucking psychotic, blah, blah, blah. And he was messaging her being really weird. Basically, like, she was like, oh, just so you know, like, my friend lives across the road, just joking around with him. Like, my friend lives across the road, just in case, like, you get strange. Like, as a joke. This before he even knew whatever. So then he started being fucking weird and, like, telling her off and, like, telling her that she was the one that was begging him to come over. All this fucking weird shit. Then he posted her on Are We Dating the Same Person? And I'm in the comments just fucking defending her, getting pissed off. Like, no, I seen the messages. I know what the fuck was said, blah, blah. He's a liar. His baby mama messages me and said, yeah, he's fucking psychotic. He still stalks me. He has nothing to do with his kid. She works like up around where the SPCA is. He tried to run her off the fucking road like last week. This was like not last week. It was a while ago, but like this year, he tried to run her off the fucking road. And he has no contact with his kid. And his kid's like a teenager now.
Yeah, some people are losers.
Oh my God, he's fucking psychotic. And like okay, it's already out there. I put it under my real name. I don't know why I'm fucking going about this fucking funny. I posted him and Are We Dating the Same Person and said, listen, this guy's a creep, going on and on. The women in the comments talking about him, and he was just like, basically like, saying that I tried to get with him and now I'm just sour. I was like, okay, produce the fucking messages because that's never once happened. Not once, bitch. Have I
But
been
are
in
you
that
sour?
inbox?
She'll defend herself 10 times out of 10.
Literally receipts now because the last thing I'm gonna do is beg a fat white man who's balding to come to my house.
Those are my favorite kind.
I know.
But we know.
We're well aware of your fucking kind.
I have lots of different kinds.
We'll get off the Haley terrible dating history.
We can make
But
a whole segment out of that.
no, for real. I got some fucking stories. But no, you go, Jess.
Speaking of love life, I know Jamie gets her 60 seconds, and that should be coming up this week, yes?
Yeah.
Jamie, what's the update this week in paradise?
I think I'm in love.
What? That is too.
Okay.
No, wait. If she's willing to say that publicly, have you guys said I love you yet?
No.
Does he
No?
listen to the podcast?
I have not told him about the podcast. Nervous
Jesus.
to tell him about the podcast. Worried Jesse's gonna tell him about the podcast. So that's why I'm not gonna say too much on
I
here.
won't. I can be professional. Just know your love life section might die after this week if you say I think I'm in love.
Oh, he's pretty
Hi.
obsessed with her too.
You know what? He's so nice and he's so sweet and he's so thoughtful. Ugh, he's
So
just
give us the update
everything.
on your last week. How was it?
Jamie, you should after your I don't know if you want to tell the story, but you do talk about the kids, so you should tell the reaction of you telling your kids that you finally have a boyfriend after 200 years.
Okay, so the kids, especially Theodore and Matilda, they have never seen me in a relationship ever. So they've always been like really dead set that they didn't want me in a relationship. So I was really nervous to tell them that I was dating because when I made a joke about it, in the spring, Matilda punched me in the gut and cried her eyes out. So I was nervous to tell them, but I knew that I had to tell them because Maisie already knows and she's a little rat.
Right.
So I told Matilda and I was like, Matilda, I have a boyfriend. And she said, you do? And I said, yeah, I do. And anyway, she didn't believe me. She kept going, do you? You have a boyfriend. I was like, yeah, I have a boyfriend. It was like a good 2 minutes of me like defending myself. I'm like, yes, I have a boyfriend. And she's like, let me see a picture then. So I showed her a picture. She looked at the picture. She looked at me. She looked at the picture. Then she looked at me and said, that's your boyfriend? And like squinted her eyes. I said, yes, that's my boyfriend. And she said, really? What's his name? I was like, his name is Q. And she said, wait, that's really your boyfriend? I was like, yes, that's really my boyfriend. And she's like, okay. And then she like accepted it. She's like, okay, like that's your boyfriend then. Cool, cool. She didn't really say anything. And then Theodore's downstairs and she goes, Theodore, come upstairs. So Theodore ran upstairs. He goes, what? And then she goes, Mom has a boyfriend. He just goes, okay, and shrugged his shoulders. And then he came in and was just hanging out with us. And Matilda goes, we should invite him to Maisie's birthday party. And Maisie was like, no, he probably smells really bad. Stinks really bad. I was like,
Which
we
he
can
might.
get him to shower first. Anyway, Matilda really wants him at Maisie's birthday. Maisie doesn't want him there in case he stinks. Theodore does not care at all. But he asked me to show him a picture, so I did. Anyway, him and Matilda both said that he looks really nice. Matilda thinks he's handsome, which I guess is why she thought I wasn't actually dating him. She thought I was like, she's like, you're dating that? No. And so I'm a little insulted, but they believe me and they don't really care. I did forget to tell you this part, Haley, though. Remember when we were telling Maisie and you showed her a picture of like that really ugly guy? Brought that up to Matilda and she said, yeah, Mom was gonna date another guy, but Auntie showed us a picture and we didn't really think he was that cute. And then she said, did you think he was cute, Mommy? And I said, no, I definitely did not think he was cute.
It was a picture of Stephen Asante from 600-Pound Life.
So she thought that I actually was like choosing between the two and then settled on the handsome guy.
Fine, I'll date the good-looking one.
Oh my God, I guess I'll go with the good looking ones if you insist.
Frick.
Anyway, it's going very well.
Good.
I expect the wedding to be like any day now.
You're definitely single if he finds out about this podcast this
I
weekend.
can't I'm telling him about it. I'm gonna find
He's not gonna dump me because of the podcast. He would never.
he might dump you
Probably.
for something else, but maybe not the podcast.
Well, for something else, but not for the podcast.
Talking about all this love, we need to get into it with Peaches. Haley, I need you to start us off. I need to hear these stories. I'm so excited.
Okay. So, Peaches, you have a lot of hilarious dating stories, but my favorite one, which is the most complicated one you have, it involves bikers, truckers, OnlyFans models, Pinterest.
Oh my god.
It's complicated. It also involves milk delivery. So if you want to jump right in and just start from the beginning, because Jesse doesn't know about this, Jamie knows about very little. So jump on in, girl. Give it to us.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't really have any official dating after I got divorced. I am kind of not really seeing someone. We go out on dates, but anyway, that has nothing to do with this. So I met this guy on Tinder. It all starts on Tinder. And he was really nice, and we were talking for a little bit, and he was like, oh yeah, you want to come over and we can go wheeling and just have a day of it or whatever? And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool. And then he started asking me weird questions. He was like, so how would you feel about being in a basement with a bunch of guys? And I was like, fine, I would feel fine, whatever. And he was like, what if you were in a basement with a bunch of guys and you were tied up? And I was like, I'm kind of in a phase right now. And I was like, that's fine. That would be fun. That's awesome. And he was like, really? You're not scared of anything, are you? And I was like, no, not really. And then he was like, well, to be honest, I am trying to get into this motorcycle group, and I can't get in unless I have an old lady. And I was
You guys, just wait till you fucking hear this story. Your mouth's gonna be on the ground, Jesse.
it gets worse and worse. So if you think it's bad, it's getting worse after that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this guy, he's like, I can't get into the club unless I have an old lady, whatever. And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. I'll help you get into the club. He was like, oh, that's awesome. I'll pick you up and whatever, and we'll go to the clubhouse. And he was explaining to me, he was like, so when we go there, the first thing we do is we have to meet the boss of the club. And I guess his name doesn't really matter. But anyway, he's the boss. We'll just call him Boss. So when we go there, the first thing we gotta do is you have to meet him, and then he takes you to the side. He takes you upstairs. And I can't even say anything about it. And you guys are gonna he has to approve of you. And if he approves of you, I get to be part of the club. And I was like, I'm not, I wish, no, I don't. He deleted me off Tinder, this first guy that needed to get into the club. Anyway, whatever. So he was like, yeah, if he approves, I can get into the club. And I was like, okay, awesome, whatever. And he was like, okay, I'll pick you up and we'll go to the club. And then he gave me the number to his boss, and then his boss was, okay, I want you to only text me. You're not allowed to text this other person. We'll call him Chris. You're not allowed to...
His name was Ryan.
Okay, Ryan. I was gonna call him Chris, but Ryan.
Well, the names don't matter, and I'll fucking tell you why here in about 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's true, actually. Never mind. Okay, Ryan. He was like, I'll come pick you up, whatever. We'll go to the clubhouse. And yeah, and he gave me the number to his boss so I could text his boss to kind of get to know him first and whatever. And so I was messaging him, and he was, I don't want you talking to Ryan anymore. I only want you talking to me. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of freaking out. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So this boss guy told me not to message Ryan back, but I did anyway. I was, okay, what is happening? Why is he saying that he doesn't want me to message you? And he was like, just go along with it. Just text him, whatever, do whatever he wants. And I'll hear this throughout this story. Do whatever he wants. Make him happy. You'll hear this throughout my story. Anyway, so I'm talking to this guy, the boss, and we're talking for a while. And he's super nice. And I don't know how long it was, but he ended up pretty much saying that he was in love with me. And I was like, okay. And he told me, so when you come to the clubhouse and meet, I'm gonna bring you to my house. Ryan can't come. Nobody can come. I get to have you as long as I want. And my wife is gonna be there too. And he was like, but she can't do anything about it. So he brings girls to his house. He brings them upstairs in this clubhouse. Then he'll bring them to his house, and his wife is there. She can't do anything about it. He'll bring girls there and whatever. And he's all like, she doesn't mind. And I was like, okay, this story is getting so weird. And then he gives me the phone number to his wife to text his wife. So now I'm texting both him and his wife, the boss and the boss's wife. And she's acting she's some kind of lesbian, or if they're in this kind of weird relationship. And she keeps calling me dear and honey and all of this. And she was acting like a mother figure. But then if I was gonna sleep with both her and her husband. And she was, when you come here, make sure you make him happy. So this is the second time I heard this. Ryan told me to make the boss happy. The boss's wife is telling me to make the boss happy. Anyway, so every time they're supposed to pick me up to go to this clubhouse, something goes wrong. Whatever. And then he starts kind of adding on to it, making this exciting, at least to me. And Haley, I don't know why she's judging me. But anyway, they were gonna have a gangbang. And he like, you're gonna be the only girl there. And I was like, okay, that sounds so awesome. I can't wait. I'm just kind of in that phase, I said. And he was, you're gonna be the only girl. And then he messaged me later on. He was like, so far there's 21 guys. And that to me,
Did you just say 21 guys?
that 21. And he was like, and that's not including there was gonna be way more than 21. That was just the beginning. And he was like, and you have to satisfy all of them. You can't, like, you're not going to be done until all of them are satisfied. And I was like, that sounds so fun. I can't wait. Anyway, so he never ended up coming to get me for this fucking gangbang that I was so pumped over. Haley was judging me. Yeah.
Yes,
Our
I
own little
was.
Bonnie Blue.
I was judging you. And he kept saying weird stuff like, well, my daughter's gonna pick you up after cheerleading. I'll be in the back seat. And I'm on my way. This person got into an accident. I have to go help them. I was like, this sounds fucking weird. She never thought once. She's like, oh no, like, but she's pissed that she's not going to this fucking gangbang. Continue. Sorry, Peaches.
So yeah, he wasn't coming to pick me up for this. And I was like, okay, what is going on? You said we were gonna do this, and it's not happening. And he was like, no, I promise, blah, blah, blah. So he told me, like, I want to say a day later, he was like, there's this motorcycle convention coming up, and I want to know if you wanted to go with me. And I was like, well, wouldn't you bring your wife? And he's like, no, I'm not going to bring her. I want to bring you, and you have to go. And I was like, you literally asked me, and now you're telling me I have to? So there was this big biker convention, but it wasn't everyone rides their bikes, and then I don't know what happens at a biker convention, but I feel it's not what he was telling me was going to happen. So it was pretty much going to be just all these bikers that were going to be in this hotel. They were going to rent a hotel out, and they were going to all pretty much just fuck. Anyway, so there's the new person coming into this mix. His name is Alex, and he is the top dog of the whole motorcycle club. He lives in St. John, but he's the boss of all of New Brunswick. And it was the boss that I was gonna go on the trip with. He was like, I want to get on this guy's good side. So he gave me his number. He's like, I'll give you his number, and I want you to talk to him. And then again, he was like, just talk to him, get to know him. I want you to make him happy. What is going on? I did not know what was happening. Anyway, so we're supposedly going to go to this convention and whatever, and he gave me Alex's phone number. So I started texting Alex, and the same thing happened again. He was like, I don't want you texting the boss. I only want you texting me. So I'm not allowed to text the boss. I'm texting this new guy who I don't know any of them, but I don't know. Anyway, so I only want you texting me and whatever. And he said, I have this friend and he will come pick you up and he'll bring you up here. And this guy is a trucker and this guy's the interesting person in this story. So he gives me the trucker's phone number, and now he's texting me. So I'm texting the trucker, and I'm texting Alex. And message Alec, and because I was talking to the trucker, and he was kind of weird. And I messaged him, and I was like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable getting a drive with this guy, because he seems kind of weird. And then out of the blue, I get a message from this trucker, and he was like, hey, blah, 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 I'm gonna drive you up to see Alex, and don't worry, I'm not weird. I'm not a weirdo. I just told Alex that I thought he was a weirdo. Then all of a sudden this trucker is telling me that he's not a weirdo. So
They need to point out that they're weird. They're not weird. They're probably pretty weird.
yeah.
My thing is, it seems a little on the nose, but I feel like you didn't catch on.
She didn't.
I didn't. Because I was so into it. Is that not exciting? This whole
Not for anybody normal.
I've heard of Bonnie Blue.
Her and 1,000 men.
Yeah, she had a 1,000-man gangbang.
You would be able to beat that, I believe.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I would.
Anyways,
Anyway, yeah, continue. Anyway, so I message Alec, I'm like, this guy seems weird or whatever, and because I was messaging him earlier, I forgot to mention that, and I was like, this guy seems weird, and then he messages me, and he was like, don't worry, I'm not weird, I'm gonna pick you up, blah, blah, blah. And then he told me, he was like, if you feel uncomfortable, don't worry, I'll turn right back around, I'll bring you home, everything will be fine. When you meet this guy, he was saying that Andrew was his name, the trucker. And he said that he was gonna bring me to meet Alec. And it was at some kind of milk business, dairy farm or something. I don't really know. Anyway, so he had to go there, and then he was gonna bring me to see Alec. Anyway, so I went to meet this guy, and came with me, Haley, to meet this guy. This trucker
wasn't allowing her to get in a strange vehicle without me getting the license plate and getting the make of the damn truck. All that, like, I took pictures. I was like,
That's
not
the
gonna
least she
happen.
could do.
She was gonna do it either way, and I was like, no. I was like, I'll drive you to meet him. I got pictures. I got his picture. I got his number. I got all that shit. Anyways, in case you went missing, because this just sounded fucking sketch, right?
I don't think it sounded that bad. It was exciting. Motorcycle. That's exciting. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Motorcycles, 21 men, a wife. It's exciting for sure.
It's no one gets it. I'm glad you get it, Jesse. Really.
Girl, I get it. Trust me. In my early 20s, I would have really got it.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, I'll pick you up, and I'm gonna bring you to meet Alec and whatever. So then Alec, he messages me, and he tells me he works for a car dealership, and he was like, I'm gonna be late meeting you at this place because we're driving. Me and some other guys that work at this car dealership, we are driving some cars to Nova Scotia. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And then things kept coming up that he was gonna be even more late. I'm gonna be half an hour more late. I'm gonna be an hour late. 'Cause these vehicles that were brand new kept breaking down. Which, maybe I should have started being like, okay, what the heck is going on? Because, these are brand new. They're bringing them to a different dealership to sell, and they keep breaking down.
But she's just so excited to fucking get gangbang. She's like, you know what? I don't even care.
Yeah, also, this Alec guy, he told me that because it was going to be this whole thing, all these bikers at a hotel, pretty much everyone just fucking and whatever. And the boss wanted me to get on Alec's good side. So he was like, you have to fuck him. You have to make him happy. And then I was talking to Alec, and he was like, I have to fuck you and the boss's hotel room while he watches. I was so much. But that's how I get so many good stories. Like, I have lots of stories for you guys. Anyway, back to the trucker. So Alec, he's even later and later and later. So we have to stop at this dairy farm on the way. And Alec, he was just like, he said he wasn't gonna make. So this trucker, he had to drop off this load of milk. And he was hoping that they were gonna be closed. I don't remember the reason why, but he was really hoping that they were going to be closed so he wouldn't have to. He wanted them to be closed because he didn't want to drop off the load and then be able to go home. He wanted them to be closed so he'd have to wait till the morning and for them to open up and he could drop off his load because he wanted me to spend the night with him in his truck. So we got there, and the whole time I'm in the truck with this guy, I am texting Ryan still, because I'm just like, he seems the only normal one. Anyway, that's going to be a whole different thing at the end of this story, because all of them, we can say they had something in common. Alec, Ryan, the boss's wife. They all have something in common. Anyway, where was I? Okay. He wanted to stay the night. Anyway, he was like, I'm really tired. I don't want to drive back. And I told him, I was like, you told me that you were going to bring me back. And you said you would bring me back if I said I wanted to go back home. Like, no matter what. You said you'd bring me back. Anyway, he was like, yeah, I know, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, this sounds so trashy. I don't think it is, really. But I got in the back seat, and he was like, what are you doing? What's going on? And I was like, what do you think is going on? Because everyone, every single person, they're like, make this person happy. The next person, make this person happy, blah, 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 blah. The whole time we were driving, I was getting messages from Alec. He was like, make sure you make this trucker guy happy because he's bringing you. Make sure you make him happy, blah, blah, blah. So I was getting in the back, and he was, what's going on? And I was like, what do you think? Anyway, so he got in the back, and he was, I never expected this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, you did. Anyway, so we kind of did our thing, but he couldn't get it up, so it was just oral. And I did my thing, which I'm so awesome at that. I don't know if we'll talk about that in later episodes, but we can say that I get lots of compliments on that. Anyway, whatever. So I was like, he could not get it up. He told me, he was like, yeah, I have this issue and I have a really hard time. And I fucking love, okay, this is gonna sound so trash, but I love having a dick in my mouth. I love it. Anyway, so he was like, oh, I can't get it up, like, whatever. And I just kept going, like, because I didn't care. Anyway, so it's my turn, and he went down and was doing his duty, which, I did a good job, I thought. Anyway, and he obviously did not know what he was doing because he was just slopping around. And I was like, what the heck? But I was like, oh my God. Oh, you're so good at that. And he was like, I don't know if he was nervous or maybe he never did that before, but he started biting me down there. And I was cringing. My body was, you know what I mean when I say that? My body was cringing or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that fucking hurts so bad. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that.
I would have kicked him in the head.
Yeah. I'm thinking if anybody bit me down there, they'd get knocked the fuck out with my foot.
Literally. If you don't
Like,
know what
no,
you're doing, you're getting kicked in the fucking head.
literally.
I shouldn't have to get a tetanus shot after oral sex. I'd be like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna chew.
Well, no, I'm not gonna. I thought.
Well, that's not gonna help him. He needs criticism at least.
Yeah, so Jesse doesn't like criticism, but this guy could have used some.
A little criticism shouldn't harm anything.
Private dude. I like to keep things to myself.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, Peaches, continue.
So he's gnawing on you.
So your boyfriend is gnawing. Continue.
And it was like kind of chewed up down there, but that's my own fault because this story.
Dude,
Because you didn't kick him in the head, so that's your own fault.
Yeah, but I mean, it was. Anyway, so
She didn't want to be mean.
I was trying, like, I didn't want to hurt his feelings.
You're a better woman than me because I would have had no problem. As soon as he automatically didn't know, for one, there's no way I'd be sitting there doing that if I hadn't already got mine, you know? But especially if he didn't know what he's doing, then he's getting up and leaving. I'm getting out of that truck.
She couldn't at this point. She was pretty far away.
Yeah, it was in the middle of nowhere. It was pitch blackout. I don't know what time of night it was. So this kind of creeped me out because the way he parked in between two trucks, kind of like farther away in a corner, and I was like, great, I'm gonna get fucking murdered. But whatever. Anyway, so he did his thing or whatever, and then he was, did you do that because you wanted to do that? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, or did you do that because Alec told you to? And he was like, Alec told me that he was going to tell you to make me happy. And I was like, no, I did it because I wanted to. And he was like, I don't believe you, blah, blah, blah. And he was getting so upset. Anyway, he had to go back into the milk factory. And I started messaging Ryan. I was like, okay, this guy, he is so weird. He does not know what he's doing. He was biting my downstairs. I don't think he's done this before. And then Ryan was, just give him a chance. He's really nice, blah, blah, blah. And then this guy, the trucker, he comes back and he's pissed off. And it's almost he knew that I was messaging Ryan, which at the end of the story,
How would he?
exactly. The whole time he's been sending messages the same time that I've been texting, so. Anyway, if this is giving you some clues into the end of the story. So he was super mad and whatever, and he was driving, and he was like, it's always the bad guys that get the girl, and never the good guys. I'm a good guy, and motorcycle guys, they're dirty, and I take 2 showers a day. And he was like, he's saying weird stuff that. Anyway, and he was just going on that, and we stopped at an Irving or something, and he was like, do you want a drink? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he came back and he brought me an Orange Crush, and I was like, okay, this guy wanted to fucking keep me in his truck overnight. I had to beg him to bring me home. I am not gonna drink this. It was an unopened bottle. But anyways, I still opened it. And I looked inside of it and I was like, did he put something in here? I was obviously being paranoid. And I just...
I don't think you were.
No,
think
I
at the-
definitely wouldn't have
For
drank
the
it.
first time in this story, you start thinking fucking normal.
Yeah,
Using your brain.
yeah. There's no way I would have drank anything that guy gave me at that point.
But I also wouldn't have fucking sucked his dick either, so.
Well, there's that.
Well, I mean, it happened and I had fun. But anyway, he was at the out, he was filling up his gas tank, and he was on the opposite side of the truck, and he kept looking in the mirror at me. And I was like, oh my God. And he was doing it in a creepy way. And I was like, okay, he's already pissed off at me, saying how he's a good guy and he never gets the girl, whatever. And then, yeah, so he's already pissed off at me and he's glaring at me.
He's glaring at you through the fucking mirrors. I didn't know this part.
Yeah, he was. And so he got me this drink, and I didn't want to be a weirdo, so I opened up the bottle. It was unopened, so I was like, okay, what can happen or whatever. So I took a drink, and I tried to do it so he seen me in the mirror drinking it. So he wasn't thinking, oh yeah, she doesn't trust me, whatever. And anyway, so I took a sip. Maybe I shouldn't have, but by then I was like, all this that happened, like, I'm scared to take a drink of something, like, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so he filled up his truck, and we were driving back to my place, and it was just, the rest of the way was silent. He didn't say anything. And we got to my place, and he was like, you're never gonna talk to me again, are you? I'm never gonna hear from you again, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yes, I am. I'm gonna call you. Don't worry about it. You're so nice. Don't worry. I'm gonna call you. You'll hear from me again. I promise. I promise. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, Yes, I promise you, you're gonna hear from me again. And we can just say that I never messaged him again. Because in the end, I found out that this truck driver, he was Ryan. He was Alex. He was all the same person.
Do you guys want to hear how she found out? Because I have been telling her this whole time, like, that's weird. Things are just not adding up. I'm telling her this whole time. This is weeks and weeks of this shit going on. She gets in the truck with the guy, tell me everything that's going on. And I'm like, wait. I was like, how did he know what Ryan said? She's like, oh, Ryan must have told him. I was like, but why would he tell him that? That's weird. Then she finally gets back. She texts me and said, Alex said that his car broke down in Nova Scotia, so we can't meet. I was like, that's awfully fucking convenient. Anyways, she's like telling me all this stuff that happened. I was like, okay. At one point, there was a guy, I feel like it was Alec, I don't remember. It was one of them, made a Facebook. They had no friends on it, only I was like, "So they made a new Facebook to talk to you? That's fucking weird." I looked at her phone, all of her and they had Snapchats made, but as soon as she started talking to one guy, she had to stop talking to the other, which is probably so this guy didn't have to keep up with all these. I look at her phone, look at the numbers, every one of them is Text Plus numbers, every single one of them. I'm like, "Give me every single one of the pictures that these guys sent you." So I put in the truck drivers. His actually comes up, he has a real Facebook. I have a mutual friend with them on Facebook, somebody from Boys Town. So I kept that in my back pocket. Then I look up Alex and I look up Ryan. Ryan was the one that made the fake Facebook. Couldn't find him anywhere. Don't know where the fuck he pulled this guy's picture from. I look on and see the biker boss's photo is a Pinterest photo of this guy who is a biker. He puts on charity runs in the States. He had a full fucking Pinterest page about it. Then I look up Alec. I put Alex in. He is an OnlyFans creator. I messaged him and I said, hey, my friend is talking to somebody that's using your pictures. Can you just confirm with me right now that you are not talking to her? He's like, no, I'm definitely not talking to her. He has a husband and he lives in BC. And I show her this, and she's like not believing me. I'm like, you've been catfished by that creepy fucking trucker. So I called this person from out home. His initials are BH. I call him and I said, how do you know Andrew? I don't know if that's his real name or not. But, anyways, I was like, how do you know this guy? He's like, oh, I worked with him. Like, we work together. They're both truckers. And I'm like, okay. I was like, have you ever heard of him doing anything like this? He's like, no, I've never heard tell of this stuff at all. I was like, okay, I just wanted to see if he was like real, basically. So this trucker had been fucking her the full time. And he even sprinkled in pictures of himself, texted her from his number, I'm assuming, and they kept telling her, just talk to this guy and another ugly guy. And anyways, she was like not interested, so she didn't text him back. So he tested the waters with her beforehand to see like would she go for me?
Yeah.
I mean, it happens to the best of us.
It doesn't.
No, it really doesn't. Most people would have clued in a lot sooner. And the fact that like you said you didn't trust the drink and you still drank it. I'm like,
Actually, I didn't drink it. I took a drink, but I
I just have one question. Do you not have a fight or flight response?
No.
No,
Because you don't fight or flight. You just sit the fuck still.
well, by listening to
Sorry, Peaches. I don't want to judge you because I get it, but at the same time, I don't.
Peaches, I have to ask you a question about this whole thing. So when did you first think, yep, this supermodel's definitely wants me? Or, yep, these 21 supermodels actually want me? Like, when did you clue in it might be a catfish?
She didn't, Jesse.
Like, the whole time you didn't even think at all.
No, she really didn't. Because I had to convince her.
Well, then, what was the biggest red flag you ignored? Because, girl, it sounds like you ignored all of them.
Okay, I first kind of was getting suspicious when the guy, the trucker, he went to go drop off his milk delivery, and I had just texted Ryan, and then Andrew, trucker guy, comes back, and he's really pissed off, and he wasn't before.
That was your first indication that you were being catfished?
Mine would
And
be like, how many
I
times is this man's camera broken?
Right, and I even said to her, I was like, "Ask him to send you, like, a voice message, ask him to send you this, ask you to send," and he always had this fucking excuse, and then, when she got back here, she's, like, telling me this stuff, I'm like, "You're being catfish." She's like, "No," I was like, "Peaches, every single time you try to meet up with this guy or these guys, there's an excuse, and you can't. Like, it doesn't make any sense." Then I'm showing her everything, like, the guy's OF account, the guy's Twitter account, the guy's Pinterest account, the fake Facebooks. Like, I was like, and they're all text plus numbers. And also, I think it was Ryan that had the Snapchat. I don't remember in Peaches, but one of them had a Snapchat and it had like only like 15, a score of 15. So it was a brand new Snapchat too. And they never sent pictures on it.
The listeners are gonna have to comment in on tips Peaches is gonna need to do to get better at this.
You wanna know what's even better? It happened again, and she was being catfished again.
Oh my god, Peaches.
Yep, by this guy who said he was, like, in the Air Force or something, and she showed me a picture. I was like, I said, "Those are not our Air Force uniforms." She was like, "No, he's in some special thing." I fucking Google reverse image search it. It's a guy from the States, and it's a stock photo that the military in the States did for some technology thing, some IT shit for the military.
So he's a model.
Well, that's probably what she was thinking. She's like, "Oh, no, he's just a model." This
That's
wouldn't
my
happen.
that's my man.
Like, she's fucking stupid.
He told me too, he was saying that he was using his friend's phone because, his friend's name was Mark. He was, yeah, Mark's letting me use his phone for whatever reason. And I was, aw, Mark is such a nice friend.
So did from any of them again after? Jamie and Jesse, do you have any questions for Peaches? Yeah, give her some advice,
Peaches,
guys.
Peaches, just be smarter about the decisions you make. It's a scary world out there. There's literally a man going coast to coast, running around naked, and I can't have you on the front of a newspaper or a milk carton.
I personally don't find the streaker scary. I think he's just living his life. So we'll just let him be who he is. But I don't think that Peaches is thinking, using her brain.
Mhm.
And you think you are when you say you're okay with the streaker just living his life?
He hasn't harmed anybody.
Yeah, he's not
No, but
harming
what would you do
anybody.
if you're walking down the road and your children just seen this man walking around naked? You wouldn't be too
I'd be
impressed.
like, that's what we call streaker kids. You think my kids don't know body parts? I've taught them anatomy.
All
Right,
I
right,
would
guys.
rather a streaker be out there than that there was 3 men in a van trying to pick up a 10-year-old in Grand Lake today.
right, I forgot about that.
It's dangerous. The streaker is just streaking.
Moral of the story is, Peaches, when you're dating, please continue to send me their address and pictures for the love of God because we know you're not going to learn from your mistakes. There's also pizza story that could be told at a later date that's no better. No fucking better.
We'll have to make this a part two for sure.
Uh,
Peaches, as a thank you from us, we're gonna buy you an Apple AirTag and get it sewed right into your weave so that we
Right
know where you
into
are at all times.
literally, we're getting it stuck in that rat's nest.
We are gonna have it sewed into the weave.
Like, thank for joining us, Peaches. We are so excited to have you.
Yeah, really glad I could be a part of it.
Look forward to having you again. That's gonna be fun to hear part 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and all the way up to 21.
Right. You'll definitely be back. And until next week, thanks for listening, everybody. We love you. Follow us on all social medias. Our Petty by Blood is our handle on every single one: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Thanks for
Anything you
joining
can think about.
us.
Thanks, guys, and remember, don't go on strange walks in the middle of the woods with a man you don't know.
Or don't jump into a truck with a man you don't know.
Or don't get catfished by a trucker.
Or don't do anything you think Peaches would do.
Or, you know what? Let's leave it on that. That's a good one. Bye, guys.